everybody, and welcome to another episode of the I Can Do It podcast. I'm your host, April Burke, and today I have a great guest, Christy Monroe, fellow comedian. Hi, Christy.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Very good. Happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here, too. I've recently just finished your book, Something Ridiculous, a memoir. I liked it. Narrative was very easy to read. People should definitely get it. I'm also a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, which is what gets covered in the book there, and the loss of your father, which seemed to be a very positive figure in your life.
Yeah, he was. I really miss him.
Yeah. The book is great. It's available on Amazon for people to get it if they want to get it. It's called Something Ridiculous. Now, you are known as the stripper comedian, right?
Correct, yes.
Now, what kind of things, what are your shows like? I've never seen one. I've been on a show with you in Eastville, but that was just kind of normal stand-up.
Yeah, so that was probably back before I was a headliner.
Yeah.
Now, my act is I do it with a mobile freestanding stripper pole, and I invite audience members up on stage, and I give them lap dances while I tell jokes, and then I teach them pole tricks, but they're really bad at it, and I'm really good at it. So I kind of make jokes about them and get the whole crowd interested. So it's really, really fun. I've actually never had a bad show.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Now, the strip clubs, are they open now?
In different parts of the country they are. So where I currently live, they're not, but I drive 4 hours north, so it's 8 hours round trip to work at this one club that's pretty far away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, they make everybody do you have to wear a mask, or just the patrons have to?
No. Actually, it's scary. Pretty much no one wears masks. I'm the only person that wears masks, and no matter what, I make it a point to wash my hands every 15 minutes. So in the beginning of the night, when people are sober, they're very rude to me about the mask thing, but then as soon as they start drinking, it seems like they kind of forget, and then they spend money but yeah. Any given Friday or Saturday night, there's 40 girls working. I am the only one that wears a mask.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's scary.
Now, when did you get into comedy? What made you get into comedy?
So I started doing comedy November 16th, 2016. And at that point, I've been stripping since April 2014. And I had some really crazy experiences, really crazy customers, and I started a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the owner of a strip club, and so that was in Key West, and my lawyer was like, you should not continue living in Key West, so I moved to Manhattan, and
others, you want to wait until you wake up.
I can wait. Sorry.
That's okay.
So, yeah, I moved to Manhattan, and I rented a really expensive apartment, and I found this homeless girl, sleeping in the hallway, and so I invited her to come and sleep on my couch, and she had no aspirations to get up, but she was always out, taking advantage of the city, going to writing meetups and, photography groups. No job, though. And so I was kind of inspired by that, and I was like, man, I should go and, do something. I'm in New York City. So I typed in stand-up comedy in New York City, and the first thing that came was that and that I signed up that day. I didn't have one joke written. I had no plan or anything. And so I went there, and it was day one. I was so nervous. It was terrible. I probably was on stage for 45 seconds total. And when I got off stage, which is not of comedy, everyone swarmed me and was like, you were great, you should do it again tomorrow. But not because my jokes were great. My tips were great. I came back the next day, and the next day, so like 3 days in a row, and then someone told me about the open mic website to see like all of them all over the city. Like mics a day, every day, and within like 3 weeks, I got put on my first show, and I had like 4 minutes of material at that point. And then from there, the legend was kind of born, and I'm lucky because I met a lot of really great people along the way that have like helped me get to the point that I'm at now. So I started headlining like a year and a half ago, and that's been going incredibly well.
Awesome. That is awesome. It's so great when you can actually make money off of comedy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, who are your comedic inspirations? Do you have any favorite comedians that you look up to? Like mine is George Carlin. I love him.
Yeah, he's great. Believe it or not, I actually really love Louis C.K.
Yes.
I think he's incredible, super smart. I've met him. He was not nice to me. I was at Governor's Comedy Club on Long Island, and he this was like post. I was on a radio show with my top off. I think I was off, and he was there with Kevin Brennan, and like I'm kind of friends with Kevin Brennan. So it's a long story. It's such a long story. But anyway, CK came off stage, and he's like walking past where I'm on this radio show, and I was like, oh my God, they ran out there. And I was like, Louis, can I have a hug? And he was like, no. He just ran away. So looking back, like, I shouldn't have approached him with a shirt on, all things considered. But, you know, I wrote him a letter when the whole thing happened, and I said, like, dear Louis C.K., if you let me open for you, I will jerk you off. Sincerely, favorite comedian. So I don't know if I ever got to him. Probably not.
That's great. Sarah Silverman said she watched him. She watched him do it. I don't know. It's not like he was attacking people. He was. You could leave.
Yeah. I in both sides of the story, but I don't think that he did anything predatory. It was weird, but it wasn't predatory. And you know, we're all kind of weird, so.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, I read in your book that you have narcolepsy with cataplexy.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So my whole life, I knew something was wrong with me. In kindergarten, I knew something was wrong with me. I was not operating like the other kids. But then my dad died, and the narcolepsy got kind of worse then. So people wrote it off like, oh, she's just depressed because her dad died. And I knew I wasn't depressed. So I was like, no, I'm just really tired. And so then I ran away when I was 15 and became homeless. And then I started college when I was 16. So I didn't have any adult supervision. And I had gotten legally emancipated. So at that point, the narcolepsy got a lot worse, but I still, like, no one was like there to notice, basically. So then I got it Pratt in Brooklyn, which is a competitive art school, and I couldn't keep up with like the workload. I was always asleep at my desk, and then at the end, there were meetings with the dean. They were like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "I don't know." So I was pushing my wooden project through a large saw, and I fell asleep, and my finger went through the saw, and it was like squirting out blood like a water fountain. Wow. Yeah, so they expelled me actually from Pratt, and I had to the emergency room and get my finger stitched up. And then I was home, and it was like 4:30 in the morning. I was watching the Discovery Health channel, and this neurologist named Dr. Orrin Davinsky diagnosed someone with something called Klein-Levin syndrome. And so like 4:30 in the morning, I started screaming. I was like, that's what's wrong with me. That's what's wrong with me. So I didn't know where in the country this man was located. By absolute stroke of luck, he happened to be at NYU when I was in New York City. So I made him, and when I met him, like I saw TV, I definitely have Klein-Levin syndrome. So then he did all the sleep studies and nap tests and everything, and he diagnosed me with an extremely severe case of narcolepsy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So just so you know, Jimmy Kimmel, Ron Jeremy, the famous geneticist George Church, and Harriet Tubman all have or had narcolepsy.
Oh, wow. I did not know that. That's pretty cool. What kind of treatment do they, is there medication they put you on, or is there something they do?
Yeah, when I got diagnosed, like there was a medication called Provigil, but I had really bad side effects from it. The medication, every couple months, it gets better and better. So right now I'm on, it's a long story. I'm supposed to be on Vyvanse and Adderall, and then this medication called Xyrem, which is prescription GHB, which is the date rape drug. But a week ago, I signed up for my first clinical trial to like try a new narcolepsy drug that's not FDA approved yet.
Oh, okay.
And the last week I've medication, so I've not been feeling well. And then on August 28th, I start the official clinical trial.
Oh, okay. Hopefully that works. That'd be good. That worked. I worked with somebody that had narcolepsy. I used to work with developmentally disabled adults, and we had a guy in the residence that he would just fall asleep on the couch, and like everybody would just be running wild. Maybe that wasn't a good spot for him. But,
yeah, probably not.
No. Where can we find you on social media? I know you have your website, www.strippercomedy.com.
Yeah. My Instagram is Stripper Comedy. Facebook is Stripper Comedy. Twitter is Thong Therapist. And if you have trouble spelling that, it's Thong the Rapist. Spelled the same way.
Nice. Now, for your book, did you self-publish that?
I did, yeah. So I had messaged 500 publishers. I got one response, one publishing contract. But in the end, a very mine who's read the contract and said, in all honesty, this contract's not going to do a lot for you and you're better off self-publishing. So I'm actually really happy that I decided to self-publish. This way I own all the rights to my work. I have the option to sell it to become a movie. Like I can do anything that I want with it, and I don't have to deal with any third party.
Well, that's awesome. That's really awesome. Now, in the end of your book, you said you were going to be writing another one. Have you started that, or are you in the process?
Yeah, so when I said that in that book, I intended to write the next part of that story, and the next part of that story is basically that I was sold into sex slavery when I was a teenager, and then I ran away and I was homeless, and then I got legally emancipated and started college when I was 16. So that's going to be the next story. But then a global pandemic happened and I was like kind of bored at home. So I started writing this other book, and the other book I'm really almost done with, and I'm 90% done. I just have to get through the finish line. But the second book is going to be called A Sale of Two Titties, and it's a picture book. I drew 23 pictures, and it's going to be about the 20 craziest things that I've ever seen while stripping.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
I will definitely have to buy that one too. Yeah, your book was amazing. It was. I remember I sat down. I read it in 2 sittings. Yeah, it was definitely great. Definitely.
Like that.
Yeah. Do you have any upcoming projects that you're working on that you want to promote?
So I'm submitting right now a podcast idea to iHeartRadio. It's called Thong Therapy with Christy, Monroe, and it's a show where I travel around the country and interview strippers in the locker room.
Oh, that's cool.
Drama. Yeah, excited about it. I have to submit it in 2 or 3 days. So I'm finishing everything up. I wrote a treatment and a synopsis and everything. So be on the lookout for that. And then my next book, A Sale of Two Titties, should be out soon. And I'm actually going to be on the first show that I've been on in 5 months. Tomorrow at Miami Improv, so we'll see how that goes. But it's not going to be like a full show because it's outdoors and like my act is not intended for outdoor audiences. So I'm just gonna like talk, but hopefully sooner rather than later I'll start doing indoors.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
I don't know when that's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today. I had a blast talking to you. I hope to work with you in the future again. We had our little, I began down in New York City in September of 2016. So we were kind of around the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really cool. So everybody, please go to Amazon and buy Something Ridiculous by Christy Monroe and look for her new book, A Tale of, what is it? Tale of Two Titties? A Sale of Two Titties.
Two Titties.
Thank you for joining me. Enjoy your show tonight. Have fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Be kind to one another and have a great week. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, honey.